Let's welcome Angshuman Rudra to Open Tech Talks.tv. Thank you so much, Angshuman, for joining me and look
Thank
forward
you
to
for
have a wonderful chat with you.
thank you for
If
inviting.
no problem, thank you so much. So for audience, they want to know who is Angshuman and what he's doing and where is he based. So maybe if you can start introducing and then we can have a discussion.
Sure. So I work for a marketing technology company. We have a SaaS product. It's called TapClicks. We are based in the Bay Area in California. We have been in this business for 12 years. I have been in this company for 10 years. So one of the initial product managers, and I lead our analytics products, our AI products, a lot of the data pieces of it. So it has been exciting. We have seen a lot of AI adoption. So really excited to talk about what we have learned, what I have learned as we are trying to build AI products in this marketing technology space.
All right. So then let's start with what's going on from last 2 years with large language models and how it's impacting being a product manager, how you're taking those new technology into product, maybe as a feature or maybe technology enhancements. So what's going on in your head when you start working on and taking on LLMs?
Yeah. 2 years is a good point, right? Like we have always thought about building out AI features or data science features, as you say, like or machine learning features, maybe like even 5 years ago. But it never really captured the imagination of our users because as a product manager or like anything that we build, there has to be value, right? Like the users need to
Right.
see there is value. And if that's not there, they don't care whatever cool technology there is. And what we started to see, like maybe not the space that we work in, our customers are media companies and agencies, marketing agencies. I will say like 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, there was excitement. But 1.5 years ago is when they started to buy. So we started to launch something, small features even, which would just use OpenAI and just a simple wrapper on top. And people were starting to pay money for it, right? Like we could see that change in shift, like the mindset of like, yes, I can trust this, I can see value, things like that, right? So as a product manager, we are always trying to build something cool, something new that will add value, and we saw the shift in the mindset of the users is like, yeah, this seems valuable, this is helping us. So almost like a year and a half, and we started to see the shift. And I can talk more about what exactly we started to build as well, if that's
Sure.
something.
But before we go into that direction, so as a PM of product, so there's always a race versus new technology and selection of features. So how do you balance it? And if someone is listening to you, how he or she, she's they are in the same career, so what they can learn from you?
That's an interesting question. Love the question because it's not. So I come from an engineering background. A lot of PMs come from that, right? And we think of engineering first is like, let's build a product first. Let's
Right.
build the coolest technology and the
Yeah.
coolest product, and users will come later. And that does not work. I learned it the hard way. A lot of PMs learn it the hard way, especially the ones who comes from engineering background. It's never that. Build something quick. And in today's world with all these AI prototyping tools, it's like so easy. Just build something, spend just 4 hours, and then get early customer feedback. And if you see excitement, if you see people saying like, oh yeah, I would love this, then go and invest more time and more energy and more resources to build something. So I will always say customers first, users first, ask questions first, and then start thinking about cool technology or cool product. So that's my mantra always.
Okay. And as the technology is new, so there's always be a bet that, okay, shall we go ahead and take these new technology inside the product, or shall we wait and see what the others are going to do it? So how you take a decision on those, especially with this generative AI?
So I have a slightly different point of view in the last one
Mm.
month with generative AI. So I think the space is moving so fast, like something new coming up within like 2 months, 3 months. I think it's okay to be a little bit conservative with what you do. I feel You've heard of a lot of companies. They build something, and then ChatGPT coming up with something similar 6 months later, right? And so those guys have kind of like struggled, all right. And so I think, as an example, let's say helping with parenting. Like I met someone who was building this tool of like taking pictures of what your kids are doing and then sending it there. I don't think people will buy a product like that as easily,
Mhm.
right? Because you can do that with ChatGPT so much easier. This was like 2 years ago. So I wouldn't discourage people though who are like thinking ahead of curve. Like that's always like that's how the market will learn, right? Like that's great. Like innovation is great, but I am a little bit like in the space that we are in. I am trying to be a little bit more conservative. So if given a space, right, like there's always a balance, as you said, and I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve, but I'm also trying to be a little conservative. If a customer is asking for something, I'm learning about it. I'm trying to stay on top, but I'm also being a little conservative because, again, in today's world, right, like it's you have to be conservative with your resources. So that's my take. But
Okay, no, no, that's true.
yeah, yeah,
With the speed, the way it's going on.
but I will say, like in some areas, it's okay to go ahead and be innovative. So I'm not discouraging people who want to build the coolest, newest thing. Go for it. It's just not for us right now in the stage we are in the companies.
Right. Okay. So maybe now subsequent question. Okay. So you got into technology, you got a new feature area. So now how as a product leader, you drive for that, okay, now it's need to have adoption of this new feature.
I was thinking about this question actually before this. Is it's such an important piece, right? Like it's always the GTM is so important. And I think the problem with generative AI and LLM and AI in general is it's fairly a new category, right? And so building something in a completely new category and then getting adoption is harder, right? And so that's where you may want people to sort of have some other players in the category come in, and then you don't have to do that extra work. So again,
Right.
it's impossible, right?
Hmm.
You can come up with something new in a new
Hmm.
category and you can be the trailblazer. Many companies do that. Innovation comes from there. But I will also say it's easier if you just wait for a little, get someone else to come in and see if there's there like there has to be a pull. So I can give you an example if you are for it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, sure.
right now the biggest thing is AI workflow autonomous. Like in our space in marketing operations is put in a goal. I want to get this goal, these many leads, and then go, right? And then there will be all these AI agents that will come in. They will figure out, they will plan a strategy, they will use tools, they will execute them. It will look at the results, it will self correct itself, and you would not need anything. 100% autonomous, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's difficult, right? Like we are trying to build something like that, and it's not easy adoption because there is always going to be trust issues, which is true. Like there is always going to be trust issues. So it's a new category. It is a lot of hype in this space. A lot of people are trying to build something, and for me, we are also trying to build something, but we are also trying to be grounded with what are the users saying, and then
Mm.
and making sure that we have the right human in loop. We have ways where there is trust that is built, and then if we do those, that's where you right, like don't go with this is the coolest technology, we're going to build something and people will come. No, pause and then get feedback, see what are the three things, or what are the things that are exceptions that customers are asking for, and then go and make sure that you are building those as well.
Okay. Now maybe the question from challenges or mistakes, which common either taking AI or a Gen AI as a features point of view as a product leader. So, and then what are the some of the challenges which are being faced, and then take them as they go to market. So first as a product leader, and then okay, you got it in your product, and then okay, how to market it. Any patterns being emerged, or which is your lessons learned?
So I will say with generative AI products, I think the lessons learned are fairly the same in terms of any product. Is again,
Okay.
you have to make sure you're listening to the users and then using that feedback to build something fast. I think with generative AI, the one thing that I'm seeing different is the tech. I've never seen technology moving so fast. I've
Right.
never seen in all my 20 years of my career. It's like you build something and 3 months later there is something new and people are asking so yeah, I think that that's where it's a little more challenging with Gen AI products. As an example, I'll give you an example. Is these LLMs are becoming so much better. So something
Hmm.
where you may have to think through that this is not possible
Hmm.
6 months ago, it may become possible now. And so if you're like stuck on something and then your engineers are like putting a lot of their resources on that one idea,
Hmm.
maybe that library has changed, that library has become better. So keeping an open mind of like things will change, and so like not investing too much of your resources on one technology and hoping that that will stick for 3 years, that would be my suggestion.
Okay. And are there roles of product leaders are evolving, changing with the LLMs? And you must have read so many blogs and articles nowadays about, to drive and how to become a product leader in the age of Gen AI. So what's your experience says on that?
I mean, I am in general a huge, very optimist in terms of technology and AI. Like, I feel the roles are evolving in a good way.
Everywhere.
Everyone, right? Like every industry, every role, it will become better. So it has given me so much superpower. Like, it for me, like doing mockups, doing specs, like everything, doing research, like the kind of research I can do right now is
Hmm.
amazing. So I can't even believe the world pre LLM with the
Hmm.
amount of work I'm putting in. So yeah, that's what I will say. I use these for three things, right? Like research,
Hmm.
documents, and mockups. Like those are the three things that people. I personally did not. I wasn't great at doing mockups, for example, and then
Hmm.
it's just amazing how easy and fast and good they are. Any AI tool, it's just amazing.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So now maybe with the agents, right? AI agents. So any early lessons which you learned it, either it's adopting in a your product, or maybe a generally personal experience, which we will leave someone who is listening to us that okay, if they are trying to figure it out, any feedback or any comments you want to share with.
Oh, I think as a PM, I think the value of agents, and this is something that we haven't gotten to yet. We are sort of getting there. We are still early. Is where you can get the agents to talk to each other. Like I do think
Mm,
that agentic workflow,
mm,
that's where the value is, and like we really need to go for that future. It's still not there. I think the adoption is still slow because the workflows are still so complex and people often struggle to explain their own workflows, right? I always tell this is in the space that we are in, like workflow systems and complex enterprise systems, is enterprise themselves do not have a good understanding of the data silos that they have and what are the processes, and that's why building something on top of that is hard, but that's where the value is. And so like thinking of like multi agent systems and how they interact with each other, how do you sort of get humans involved in that gen system is important, and I think that that will be the future. Is this multi-agent system with humans involved is going to be the future. That's what a lot of our users are telling us. Not whole fully autonomous system, but like figuring out where to have your smart humans who have critical thinking to be injected. And then, so yeah, that's my thought process. And then how do agents interact with each other is probably going to be the future.
okay. So now as a PM, so maybe there you are capturing the user requirements and then translating into a product features and keeping in mind even the future technology, the way it's coming. Right now, you documented everything. You went back to engineering your team, and they're saying it's not possible. Right. And now, how you balance it between your expectation as a business to give to them what users, what features you want to give them, and then the shortcomings on the technology side, or maybe on engineering side, or maybe on the personal preferences. How you balance those decisions, technology versus the features and the business workflows, whatever you call it.
Yeah. I mean, so your question is just getting a requirement and then like how do you translate that to your engineers? And then if you are doing the technical limitations to it. So one important lesson I learned, and this is for everybody, every engineer who is transitioning to product management, is like have two thoughts around this. One is to have your engineers be your partners and let them also brainstorm like what solution needs to be built. So never sort of like dictate the solution in your head for your engineering team, right? Like always focus on that. And engineers kind of struggle with it because they engineering term PMs kind of struggle with it. That's one part of it. The second part, and that's more like learning as I'm sort of growing senior in this role, is you can still provide ideas and brainstorming. So again, like
Mhm,
partnering, right? So as you want engineers to come in and say, you know what, these requirements, can you dig deeper and see if the requirements could be a little bit better, right? Like what is the use case, right? Like why, and try to figure out what problem is the user trying to solve,
mhm,
because PMs do not know all, right? Like, and the same on the other side is engineers, they can think that this is not possible or these are the kind of ways you can do it, but maybe a PM can give you an idea of like, you know what,
mhm,
why don't we cache this? You're worried about performance, why don't you cache this
mhm,
thing? Or yeah, there's so many things that a PM can also provide as an input. And in today's world, I feel with LLM, everybody is everything, right? Like everyone can give ideas, everyone is a generalist. And so I think partnership is the right way to move forward. Sounds cliche, sounds like everybody would say stuff, but I'm like a big believer in cross functional collaboration and generalist roles, and not like super special like no, you don't tell me how to do this. I don't like that at all. So
okay.
that's
Now, I think this question is maybe before LLM as a PM, right? How you were trying to find that, okay, my product need to have a next business feature. Maybe most of the time even users don't know, right? And now with after the LLMs, okay, maybe that process is more easier. So that if you can share your experience how you were doing it, trying to find out a feature or maybe anything what product need to be having in the next 1 year, 2 year.
this question is a good one. It depends a lot on your stage of the product and what you want to
Right.
get out of it, right? So I love the word product market fit expansion. So again, we have, let's say, a lot of us who already have a product and we know the market we are in, and
Hmm.
let's say we want to grow, right? And so like think about which part do you want to grow. Do you want to go and attack a different user base? So let's say you're targeting product manager as a user base, and you think, "Oh, I already got a good product, I also want to go after program managers," right? So that's a different, slightly different user base, and that's how you want to expand, right? You can do something else. You are targeting product managers in startups, now you want to go after product managers in fang companies. So there is like different ways you want to expand, right? And so that's the first way. And then if let's say that's the goal, then like talk to your users and see like what is it that they are doing, what is it that they what are their pain points, and then like start thinking through like where is the fit, where can you sort of go after that user base, right? Like that's the like the classic way of answering your question.
Right.
uh, and I will say again, coming up with like the coolest technology, again, depends on the industry, is
Yeah.
great, but also often the solution is already out there, right? Like people are already solving, maybe engineers, for example, are already solving it in a certain way, and program managers can learn from it, right? Like, so you don't have to be like super innovative to, or like the latest and the coolest technology. You don't have to like just study, research, look at the different user segments and see like what works, what doesn't work, and then like build on top of it. So
Okay.
that's part of it. Yeah.
Have you or your team has started adopting these new vibe coding and LLMs into your development cycle or not yet? Are they early enough to decide on it?
No, we are using it. I think the
Hmm.
biggest, I don't know if you've gone through this MIT report of this 95% failure
Yeah,
rate of enterprises, right? So I will say, and they have this term called shadow AI.
shadow
And I,
AI. Yeah,
right, I love that. I think not just developers, like every role, every department, they are facing that, right? Like individuals, they are, of course, using it for their own personal productivity. But having it getting adopted overall is harder again, because if we go back to why, is because the technology is moving so fast. Like every 3 months, if let's say Cloud Code comes up with something cool, this developer is like doing something, why would they wait for the organization to come in and tell them what to do, right? So that is my 2 cents about we are adopting. I think we can do faster adoption. I think developers are adopting even faster, right? Like you cannot stop them to be better and improve. So
okay.
yeah.
So you must be engaged in hiring process in your organization, in any role. So what could be your few tips for if someone is listening to us and is getting ready for next interview or maybe job? So what are your experience, your tips for him or her based on that what traits you target?
So I think I watched this video sometime back and I love that is, and it's getting harder, as you know, like the market is getting harder. And I think it's almost a sales process. I will say, like, if you're recruiting for a company, treat them as you're selling your product to them. And I'm speaking more from a product manager's perspective. Uh, is try to figure out your fit, you as a
Yeah.
product to that company, and then do what a salesperson would do, right? Like build connections, talk to individuals, try to figure out what those roles are. And again, it's a lot of work, but if that role is really good, I think it is worth it. So I think if you can signal how valuable you can be and then how important that role it would be for you, I think that is key. And I will say with again LLM, it's easier to do research. It's easier to like figure out what you can do for that company, right? So like bring out some unique capabilities. And I was a friend of mine, she's recruiting right now. She said like a lot of interviews they actually ask you this question is like, how are you for job search also, right? So it's
Right.
always good to sort of stay updated. Interviewers do not know everything. Like they're also trying to learn. So that's the other tip. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I also want to learn. Absolutely, you're right. Now, before maybe we conclude for today, a couple of questions on the market segment which you work in. How is it being impacted with Gen AI? And is there a major shift towards either it's a product or is it overall a market point of view or industry point of view?
I think since I'm in the marketing technology
Yeah.
space, I'm like blessed, right? Like this space is getting disrupted. A lot of good use cases. Let's say, for example, healthcare. I'm not sure. Like it's not super regulated, is what I'm saying. So it's slightly easier for people to sort of experiment with new things. Again, as I said, I'm an optimist. So I will give you an example, right? So we have data. Like TapClicks always has like interesting data for our and their end customers. And one of the things that they have always struggled to do is figuring out what to do based on that data, right? They would always like sometimes do like once a week, once a month. And now you don't even have to do that analysis yourself, right? Like an agent can actually do that analysis for you
Hmm.
every every 6 hours, every 30 minutes, whatever, instantaneously, and provide some other agent or a human some insight or maybe like an alert, right? And so that's the future, right? Like it's, and I think like the biggest shift still is not the technology, it's still the users thinking about it, is how their behavior can change. Like we still struggle with some users. It's like, no, we have done weekly, we will do daily, right? But you don't have, like, it can be even faster. So just like that behavior change is what will happen. And I can see like maybe 2 years for some customers, maybe like 5 years, but it is going to come. Like the space is going to get disrupted. There's just so much that's possible in our space. So I'm like very excited about it.
Okay. Any few examples from maybe use case or maybe something new is going on in the industry where you work and which excites all listeners?
So in my space, I will talk about my
Yeah, yeah.
space. Like content generation, we know how cool it is with like thousands of content getting generated, and then lead generation process around that content. That's one piece of it. Data analysis and like AI kind of giving you insights based on the data. Those two are like two of the most common use cases in our
Common.
space, right?
Mm.
I still think to have marketing operations overall that work. So let's say you start a campaign, you are trying to figure out what should be the budget, what should be the creative, like all of that. Each piece of it can be disrupted. They are getting disrupted individually. We are in the space of marketing operations automation. And so we think that multi-agent will be the future. Just um it's harder. I think like the trick is where to get the humans in loop. I am convinced we cannot have it like completely self autonomous system.
Right.
So like getting the right humans to be trained in the right way and have like critical thinking to sort of use that system. I think that will be the key. And again, the behavior change of like getting humans who were like okay to do repetitive stuff to stop doing it, being more critical in terms of their thinking in that environment will be the key. And I don't know the solution. I don't think we have come to that point yet. Like as consumers, as users, I don't think we have gotten to that point. So that's the challenge. That's the challenge.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Before we conclude for today, any concluding remarks for listeners? And then if someone wants to reach out to you, where he or she?
Concluding remark. This is a great time to be sort of being in the industry or like coming into the industry. So I will encourage everyone to be optimistic about it. Like learn as much as you can. This will have advantages. So try to be curious and learn as much as you can. That would be my advice. And I'm always open on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out. My name, I think it's fairly unique, so you can find me there. There are other ways as well. I think on my website, I think there's like contact there as well on my company name as well. So just reach out to me. I'm like very open in helping out and like collaborating and talking about geeking out about like the latest technology. Thank you for
All right.
inviting Kashif,
No
actually.
problem. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kashif. Have a great day.